Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to ask the question of whether or not Ainz Ooal Gown could enter, sustain himself and even entire civilization in general on the moon of this new world. And yes, I may or may not have spent some time on some parts on the internet. But before we are going to do so, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel, as well as all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Now with that said, I'm going to assume that the moon in the new world is just like our own moon. It might have a few quirks and odd things here and there, but all in all it is just a rock without any real atmosphere or vegetation. And I say that because moons in anime tend to be a bit wacky. For example, a character from One Piece is, as far as I know, on the moon, and as far as I'm concerned, he thus far is not suffocated to death, which is quite the achievement. And of course, who could forget the iconic Soul Eater moon, who not only needs to see a doctor but also a therapist. But anyway, with all of that said, even if there's no Kishin or Godkin, as Ashura would be known in Overlord, on the moon, it is still a very hostile place. It is not only barren and lifeless, but also devoid of an atmosphere and any meaningful resources. This holds especially true in the new world of Overlord, where things like water or paper could be summoned in some quantities just by magic itself. But Overlord, being set in a magical universe, also has this incredible tool of magic at his disposal in order to do something to the moon that would make it more hospitable. And first and foremost, Ainz would have to reach the place, which is surprisingly easy, since there's no air resistance in the new world, due to some sort of magical or even Yggdrasilian influence, and since items that allow one to fly or to levitate without any effort are also a thing, a moon mission could be just Ainz handing out a ring of flight to the overlords of the Great Library and then let them fly up there. Granted, there are some dangers during the journey that could occur, like solar winds and cosmic radiation for example, but I'm pretty sure those could fall under the general topic of fire resistance. And somewhere Ainz surely has enough items and spells and scrolls around that would make them, that is the overlords at least, temporarily immune to fire damage, just like he himself is now completely immune to it, due to his outfit. Upon arriving, the overlords, or perhaps even Shaltir, who of course would have traveled with them, could just cast a gate spell in order to link the surface of the moon to the New World surface, which would shorten the supply route and the travel distance considerably, and it would allow Nezarec to build a moon base with extreme ease. Now, since the moon is devoid of an atmosphere, the Sorcerer King might install some sort of airlock around the gate spell, or rather the area it will be casted on. But all of these could be perhaps done with magic, by for example creating a semi-permeable barrier of some sorts, or just good old machinery. In any case, the overlords, the undead, and in general anyone who is not dependent on such luxuries as food, water and air might have an easy time living on the moon. But since this is a magical world, the moon might also be settled already by, let's say, some sort of sentient golems, perhaps even left by other players on earlier missions, or an entire ecosystem based on rocks and metal. But if this is truly the case, then it would be a surprisingly easy scenario, because Ainz would then just subdue the moon civilizations in order to conquer this ever biggest stretch of land, without other nations even noticing what is happening and why the Sorcerer Kingdom is so quiet all of a sudden. But let's just say the moon is just an airless wasteland, completely devoid of any kind of life. How would, and even how could Ainz Ooal Gown deal with it? And then again, quite surprisingly, he has a variety of options. For example, he could restrict the settlements to underground areas, basically like a lunar version of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, something Mare would be very able to create given enough time and a spacesuit. Or he could declare it a center of industry, given the fact that the moon should have no biosphere and atmosphere to speak of after millennia of heavy industrial occupation and production, would be unstable and carried away via solar radiation, so the moon could become a self-cleaning production area, so to speak. But what all of this isn't just doable, if for no other reason than Ainz Ooal Gown being very, very anti-pollution after Earth has turned pretty much into a toxic planet in the year of 2138 already, and since progress is not achieved by advancing technology and production, but by advancing magic, Ainz Ooal Gown could just terraform the entire moon into a paradise world using magic, which would normally be a very, very lengthy process that would take millennia to accomplish. But first and foremost, if this is truly the case, then Ainz Ooal Gown would have the time necessary to sit it out. And luckily, as the missing air resistance has shown, the laws of nature in the New World aren't so much natural laws as man-made ones that could be changed given the right circumstances and the right tools to do so. And Ainz Ooal Gown has the spell Wish Upon a Star, which could make the impossible possible, but it also can be used 2 times without Ainz Ooal Gown needing to sacrifice his own experience points, because he's still got that ring, so there's nothing to stop Ainz from enhancing the moon's gravity, and simultaneously shield the New World from the effects of this increased gravity, or to simply wish that the moon could sustain life, and unlife for that matter, to the same degree as the New World could. With that done, Ainz would have everyone able of creating magic items that can produce a certain amount of water each day, forging these exact items, and then shipping them off to moon by the thousands. Now the moon's soil, the so-called regolite, is basically just a bunch of tiny razor blades piled atop of each other. Without water, there was never ever something to dull the edge of the many soil particles, so it would likely take decades of rainfall in order to dull them down. But luckily, Ainz has the time, and the time magic, to sit it out. So we could, for example, set up some artificial rivers, a bit of a biosphere, and then speed the time up. Maybe by using Wish Upon a Star, maybe by using normal time magic, as far as time magic can be normal, or even a world-class item in order to speed up the process. From centuries to decades to years to months, or even in just a few days, all depending on the potency of the spells or the world-class item used. So in short, at least in my opinion, Ainz could travel to, conquer, and even terraform the moon with the help of magic and turn it into a second new world. The 2 planets would then be comparable to Daxon and Onderon from Star Wars, rather than to their earthen and now barren equivalent. Also, this entire plan of speeding up the time reminds me of Malkador the Sigillite, but that's a topic for another day. And with that said, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Yee, Ben C, Chrissy, Crowley0221, Sia, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Feral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, Chromius, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Ted, Texas Deer, die Orc Warboss, Rocket Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, and Sonnegon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.